Welcome back, everybody. My name is Nutrace, and welcome back to the channel for a study stream. Man, it's been a while. A week of no Twitch, of no streaming, always feels like I'm doing it for the first time. Alas, that's not the case. Let's see, the poll should be there. Let's see if that works. There you go. Close the poll down there. Perfect. All right. So in the meantime, in my absence, there have been a few updates. Oh, sorry. Let me just check something. All right. Right. There have been a few updates. We don't have the full post-flop functionality yet. We're not fully hooked up to the Mastermind cloud, but for Mastermind members, there are a bunch of simulations concerning post-flop already available to download, which I did download them. And I hopefully imported them correctly into the bucket tool, which you should be seeing on screen right now. Yeah, that looks all good. Mic is on. Ah, perfect. So here's the spot. It is, I should probably caption this. It is small blind versus button. Small blind 3-bet versus button RFI. It is PLO 500 in terms of rake, and it's 100 BB. So should probably copy this out, add it to the overlay, to the study spot overlay. There you go. Right, so now we should have that on screen as well. And so our initial range here is our 3-betting range versus the button open in the small blind. And then I loaded the post-flop stuff. I could just show you real quickly. Download post-flop ranges. And this is a 3-bet pot. We, hero, are out of position. We are in the small blind, so first to act. And then we chose a board. And then I imported these 3 ranges, which would be for the 954 board, already also noted up here. And it's 100%, so 100% pot size bet, 50% half pot size bet, and a check. These are the 3 ranges we've got here. And that should be everything, basically. So without picking any buckets for now, let's just go through a general training, see if everything looks correctly. Do I have everything on screen now? I think so. All right. Let's start the training. The spot is, as said, so we are in the big blind, in the small blind, sorry. We are raising a button, raise first in. And the button calls. We are in a 3-bet pot, seeing a flop. And we are first to act with King 9-7. Just kind of an interesting one right the bat. We have the backdoor flush draw. We have the 7, which is pretty huge on this board. And we are, of course, well, we're wrapping aces a little bit by 3-betting always. So I don't know here. Do we want to check this one? Do we want to bet half and get it in if we get called? I don't know. Go with the I don't know. See, this is where the post-flop trading might get interesting right away for me. Right off the bat, a spot where I wouldn't be sure. Go with 50 and get it in? No, 100% pot size bet, huh? So just potting it. Yeah, I mean, we're not folding to a raise. We might as well utilize maximum pressure here and go for the pot size bet, I guess. So if the kings were a bet, then this is a pot size. Checking this one. Aruklas, hey! Welcome back to the channel. So man, I really hope I set this one up correctly and not wrong. We have the ace of spades. We're blocking betting ranges. We have a 6. We're blocking betting ranges. Right. It should be small blind. We're in the small blind. We 3-bet a button raise first in. Let's go through a couple of these and see if they look right. I mean, I guess... Perfect. I guess this could be a check then, but... Yeah, I mean, the kings are a little bit weaker. With the kings, we don't want to see... Previously, we had king, 9-7, triple suited, and that was a 100% pot size, as you can see up here. Interesting. Let's go through a couple of more. See what comes of it. So here we have a gutter and a backdoor flush draw, decent blockers. Seems to be a check 100% of the time. Man, I don't know if that's what I'm correct. Might have to resort to pre-flop stuff again. Can you stick to English, Aruglas? So this is supposed to be an international stream. I did bet pot there. Let me take away the poll right now. We don't need the poll on the overlay while we figure this out. Oh, no worries. So here I would have checked and assessed bet 50% 100% of the time. Seems weird to me because you're opening. We don't block any spades. A pair and spades, my pair and spades and a gutter or something might just raise us. Let's go through a couple of more of them relatively quickly just to get a feel for whether I set this up correctly or not. It's king 8-6. Okay, sorry for clicking a little bit quickly, but I want to see if I set the spot up correctly. Aruglas with the bet 50% here, which is indeed the preferred option. Aces and jacks. %, or 1/3, yeah. Not sure if 1/3 is a thing in 3-wood pots all that often out of position. Should be a check, you say. Aruglas killing it. Aruglas, for the record, I'm still not 100% sure if I set everything up correctly, which is why I'm going through some hands relatively quickly. Aces and 8s. Here we block raising ranges. So I'd say this is a bet. So it's mostly a bet, sometimes a check. So it seems like it's working. Let's go through a couple of more and we restart the training. And I'll do the polls and you'll have enough time. So we have a pair, no straight blockers, and a flush draw. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out if I set everything up correctly here, Aruglas. That's the thing. Let's go with the check here. It's a check and sometimes a bet pot. This is a 5-3. Pair from the board, no spades. Maybe check. Yeah, every option, right? Goes with the check as well. What do you guys, what do you think, Aruglas, and what does the rest of you think? Does it seem correct so far? Do you believe I set it up correctly? I think I did. Queen 5-4, front and back door. So I'd say, because I'm most often right. Well, a good point. So I'd say probably bet pot, get it in. Let's bet 50%. Okay. I mean, I guess here we don't terribly mind getting called at all. Happy to get it in if we get raised. All right, so now pot bet. No, it just shows the. That's a good question. Oh, glass. Where'd the thingy go? Raining go away? Okay, no, it starts us off automatically at the next one. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't think there's that much difference either. But since we haven't selected any buckets, most of these buttons are useless for us right now. I don't think there is the way to see the EV there. So with queens and threes, not hitting any spades might be weak enough to actually bet. Let's go with the conservative one and check for this last one, and then I'll put up the poll as well. Yeah, we check. All right. So, set up a poll. So bring your friends, all of y'all come inside. We got a world premiere right here, now get live. So don't change the diesel, turn it up a little. I got a living room full of fine dime bristles, waiting on the pistol, the diesel, and the setting up the pole. Now ladies, here we kiss her. When the pimp's in the crib, ma, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot, drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot, park it like it's hot. And if it get an attitude, all right. So for the next one, now with the poll, should be on screen now. Yes, so you can click 1, 2, or 3, and we can do this properly. It seems as if I set everything up correctly. And let's do this. Sean wraps. Yeah, sounds good to me, Ruklas. About this one, with the king, we don't have any straight blocker. We do have the spades, however, making this relatively strong hand. So it could be one for the check back range, seeing that we don't have any straight blockers. We do have the lowest part from the board paired. And excuse me, it's not, of course, not the check back range. We are first to act. So I could see this being a check or I guess a pot size bet. What do you guys think? It's 1, 2, or 3 for check, bet half, or bet pot as number 3. And that registers. Rukla's gone with half pot size bet here, out of position. I'm gonna go with the check. Infirin, hey, welcome back to the channel. So we got a little bit of everything now. Let's see. So the checks and the pots have it. It's not a spot to bet half pot. I guess I would assume if we bet, we do want to utilize every bit of fold equity we have. So hence we're betting pot, not betting half pot. And if you get called, you know the pot's gonna be so huge that on the turn it's gonna be a no-brainer. And if you get raised, we get it in. Queen, queen, 6-4. Similar, our pair is lower. We have the queen high flush draw, and this time you hold a pair from the board as well at the 4s again. We use that, start poll, right, there you go. But we do have the 6. Blocking flush draws and subsequently, straight draws and subsequently ranges that can raise us. Big Buck, welcome back. go with the pot size myself. Alright, the pots have it, huh? 100% pot size bet. Arugula just snuck in there before the poll was over. So pot get it in here. Jack 10 10 7. Meaning we completely missed the board. Unblocking any flush draws. Blocking straights a little bit with the 7 and that's it. Having a slight overpair, so I would imagine this is... Oh, I need to start the poll actually. There you go. Go with the check as well. It's possible somebody's vote didn't get counted there. I think Inferen, yours might not have. Since I was a little bit slow on clicking the start poll button. Man, the weak absence has taken its toll. I'm a noob again. Check 27 seems to be a clear check. And not a huge surprise here. $10.87. Interesting one. Having the gutter ourselves, not blocking a pair from the board, and having the flush draw. I'd say this is a medium strong hand on this board that goes into the checking range. Here's what you guys think. Betting is overplaying it. If you get raised, we can't fold, but we're not gonna be happy. They cut check, I'd say. Man, I'm still having doubts. I still hope I set everything up correctly. I believe I did, however. This window, okay, so if I move this, the trading window disappears, so that's too bad. I wanted to look at those percentages. Let's say Ben this hand seems fine. So we had the 10-8-7 on this board. Before we, I'll take the poll away for a moment. Before we start with this one. Yeah, I guess. We block the spades. The button is gonna have a lot of stuff that missed. Needs to fold. Yeah, seems good. With betting there. Alright. The poll, start poll. There you go. There. King Jack 10-9. Might be the weakest part of our betting range sometimes, so might be a bet or a mix between betting and checking here. I can actually bet this. And it is a mix. Aruglas, you talking about the previous one, the 10-8-7? That was a 100% bet, or this one? Because here I wouldn't bet all the time. This one. Okay. Oh, fair enough. King 8-7. So we have a gutter, no spades, no pair from the board. Would be shocked if this one is a mixed strategy spot. Yeah, well, that's... You chose the suffering yourself, my friend. Yeah, I bet it is. It's not gonna be good for your game, so I'd suggest do one or the other. It would drastically reduce the amount of tables. You would bet here 50% of the time. Huh? Well, for the record, I'm gonna go with the fold. The other thing, the check. The nitty option. Checking. Let me check something. Okay. So... Yeah, I'd go with big buck betting here as well. Alright. Pot fold. Yeah, pot fold I kind of see as well. Pot fold wouldn't be horrible in my mind. It's a check 100% of the time. Would really like to see the EVs. Can I do something about this? You know, this is the King 8-7. Let me try something. Go on the main window here. King 8-7. Checkmark EV on the bottom. Now here, it only shows the EV of our chosen action. So it doesn't split it up into, you know, EV for betting, the half part, EV for betting part. But I think we just got here, right? There you go, yeah. So there are some that gets bet. There are some that gets pot folded, I would assume. Yeah, here it shows the EV. I think that's the EV. And that's the frequency at which we take this action. Yeah. Yeah, it is sorted by the highest EV, so fair enough. Betting is mostly the best option, wouldn't bother with anything else. Yeah. I guess the strongest ones that get pot called, I would assume, would be the King 8-7, where we have a gutter to the straight flush, actually. Super important. Yeah, I'm still getting to, yeah, good advice. I'm still getting to grips with using that's the first time I'm using the bucket tool for post-flop stuff. And I agree, that seems to be a good thing to do. All right, so aces with a 10 and a 6. Again, blocking straight draws a little bit, unblocking spades. I'd imagine this would be a check or a bet pot. Yeah, check it as well. Yeah, 100% of the time. Betting is okay. Yeah, maybe reserve the betting for one that has spades in there. Let's check this. Was it ace 10 6? So all of the ones that, or most of the ones that get bet 50% here are mixed strategy. Like only one hand or two hands get potted 100% of the time, so you might as well ignore that. So it's either check or bet pot. Okay, what can we glean from this? The ones with the ace of spades are checking a lot. The ones with backdoor diamonds bet. The ones with 3 diamonds check as well. So spades bet, yep. All right, MP Adam joining us from Malta. How's life? Hopefully in the sun, my friend. How's it going, MP Adam? Yes, sir. We are starting a post-flop spot. It is small blind versus button. We are on the button. Small blind opens first to act, raise first in, so to say. We in the small blind 3-bet. The button then again calls us, and we see a flop of 9, 5, 4. And we're given these whole cards right here. And go to the next hand. And yeah, we have a poll you can vote in with the numbers 1, 2, 3, depending if you think check, bet half, or bet pot is the best option here. And now we are in the same spot with the green jack 10-8, hitting absolutely nothing from the board, having the 8 blocker. So yes, the flop stays. The single suited 9-5-4, 2 spades, 1 diamond. That's the situation we're looking into right now. And so we can either check, bet half pot, bet 50% here, or bet the pot. And Spasiba Bradishka. Might denada. I can't do it in Russian. No, I can't. Yeah, Rukla's betting half pot. It could be one to bet with air, bet half pot. But I would probably prefer to do this with at least 1 spade. So I'd go with 1 as well, just check here. And that's checking 100% of the time. Alright. Next hand, the Ace King Queen, a beautiful starting hand, hitting a brutal flop here. Legends Killer in the mix as well. Good to see you back, sir. This time around, we hit a top pair, have the backdoor nut flush draw, block, no spades, no straight draws. It's pretty weak, so it's not a mean or strong hand by any means, which gets checked a lot, so this could be a bet or could be a check. I think without any straight blockers, it's more of, it's a check. Crusher and MP Adam going for the pot-sized bet, huh? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the check. So it's never a bet pot, apparently. And it's a mixed strategy between checking and betting. Alright, alright. Trying to deny equity to flush draws. The trouble is if you get raised, if you bet pot, you kind of need to call with this one and you're not going to be happy with a pair and a backdoor flush draw. I get where you're coming from, denying equity to flush draws. True if it works often enough. So the solver would have a mixed strategy, checking or betting. Almost 50-50 here, 60-40, whatever. Now we just overlay the poll. Cool. Now we have aces with an 8 and a deuce. Have a gutter ourselves. Backdoor flush draw. And the 8 is pretty important. So personally, I'd say bet pot, get it in. Betting 50%. From what we've seen so far with the big overpairs, we didn't see a 50% betting strategy all that often. Well, very limited sample size. We only seen a few hands of kings and aces. Yeah, I'd go with the pot. Let's see. No! That's 50%, huh? Really? MP Adam? Guessing it right or having it right? Interesting one for sure. Let's go back into the main window. This is... what was it? 8 deuce, dollar, double suited. And there's no checking here. There are a few combinations that get... it's 50-50 between betting half pot and betting pot. And what's the difference? Betting 50 with the backdoor flush draw seems alright. Let me get this back up so we see the flop again. Betting 100%. So we're betting 50 with the hands that want to get caught a little bit, or that don't mind getting caught a little bit more, I want to say. Here we don't check. Here we don't block the backdoor flush draw. Have the flush draw ourselves. Here we have the backdoor flush draw. All right. It's close in terms of EV anyway. Yeah. Just try to, like, you know, find a system or some find a pattern. betting pot with the flush draw here. What's the difference between this one and this one then? Mixed. I don't think there's an important underlying pattern to pick up here. Only thing that I can see is that the even stronger hands than having the overpair and the flush draw, adding the backdoor flush draw to the mix, makes us want to continue for half pot a little bit more often. All right. No, not backdoor is probably a bit better. Half pot, yeah. All right. Interesting one. Jacks and nines, so the top set with a spade blocker, not blocking straight draws. This I could see being a check. See this being a check raise or one pot it here. So it's either pot or check from you guys, huh? I think I'm gonna go with the pot. We're not blocking continuation ranges that much. Don't hold 6, 7, and 8. Only one spade. Very interesting. So preferred option is by 70% is the check. No doubt to go for the check raise. And then bet 50%. I guess we do want our opponent to continue here. I find it interesting that we don't have... that we don't pot it with this hand. Look at hands without spades, yeah. Okay, so we can't have spades. Yeah, we can't have spades ourselves, of course, since the 9 of spades already out there. Where's the 76% pot button? That's a legit question. I can't work like this. Yeah, not like this. So it's either across the board, it's either betting half pot or checking. Don't think there's any pattern to pick up on here as well. And if you look at the frequencies of how often we... Yeah, the EVs are completely the same. At the frequency, there's hardly anything that we do with 100% frequency here. Except potting the ones without a backdoor flush draw. I have potting 100% of the time. Okay. You can show pot bet EV. Yeah. Well, the tool is still in the works, I'm sure. We'll be able to do this later on. Interesting one. Very, very fine one. So, 2 pair gutter, and actually a gutter to the straight flush. We got it all on this one. Gotta complain to Jane and this. What? Bam! Right there with the answer. Any more questions, Aruklas? Ah, welcome back, sir. Good to have you to channel. What an excellent timing. So, I was a little bit unsure if I set everything up correctly, but I believe I did. The initial range I chose was the... So it's a small blind versus button. Small blind raises, a button raise first in. And the initial range I chose was our 3-betting range. I think that should be correct. Not that I have you here, but that's pretty much the only question. I got the other ranges I imported as I saw in the video. Ah, MP Adam, thank you very much for the shout out. Much deserved. Right, so the poll is up. Just leave this here instead of dragging it around. And so do we want to check this? Do we want to bet half pot? And Legends Killer going with the mix, yeah. Mix of 1 and 3. I could see the mix of being all 3, honestly. I don't know. Guess I'm gonna go with the pot. Don't see how checking is good here. Yeah. Let's go with pot. No. Checking apparently is decent enough. Board coverage down the road, that's a good point, yeah. So it's never being potted, it's either 50%, so it's a mix between betting half pot and checking. Again, the equities run insanely close. 7, 5, 4. There any that get potted? Yeah, okay, so the ones that don't contain any spades. And might or might not contain a backdoor flush draw. Interesting. Hang on, do I... Okay. But they also, so that's a mixed frequency thing here. We sometimes, the ones without any spades, we sometimes bet them for the entire pot. Sometimes we check. All right. Next hand, it's over here. King, 10-7. Similar to one we had earlier. Having the flush draw, holding the 7 blocker. So looks pretty familiar. We are the 3-better, we are first to act. So I'd say this is a bad pot quite often. Going by what we've seen earlier. MP Adam, the outlier, betting 50%. I think we do want to maximize our fold equity here by betting pot. Less interested in seeing somebody tag along for 50%, maybe. You know, I'm part of all this. I'm making up as I go along. 100% pot size, 100% of the time. There we go. Yeah, I had some help here, MP Adam. We had a very similar hand earlier. Ace-King 7-5, holding a pair, a straight blocker, and a backdoor flush draw. I'm blocking spades. Starts crying. Starts crying in half pot, huh? Say check this or sometimes bet it as the weakest part of our range we want to bet. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see a mixed strategy that's mostly checking, maybe. So I'm gonna go with a check myself as well. $100% bet here. Interesting. So the ones that get checked are the ones that have nut spades. Or the ones that don't hit any suits of the board. Then we have the half pot size bet for 50% of our hands. Too weak to check call, so it's bet fold, I guess. Yeah. And the ones with so either the ones that bet half pot either have the spades and the backdoor flush draw, or just have the backdoor flush draw. Okay, and here by the frequencies, like this one we can ignore, 7% frequency. This one, okay, sometimes. So there's a mix here. Sometimes you bet this pot, sometimes I guess you check it. Yep, there you go. All right. We've checked through. There are many good turns. Yeah, agreed. Any king, any ace, any 5. All right, all right. Same spot. This time we have the ace king 10 6. So hitting absolutely nothing with the backdoor flush draw and the straight blocker, straight draw blocker. Oh, should probably start the poll. There you go. Yeah, you can put in your answer whenever you see the poll in the overlay. Otherwise, it's not active. It's not going to count your bet. Your vote. Pierre, where's the fold button? Yeah, we're past the folding stage. Yeah, check fold here. Oh, 1/3 of the pot. Eh. We're not prepared for 1/3 of anything right now. All right, go with check. 100% seems fine. Ace king 10 8. Pretty similar, I would say. Except this time we do have the backdoor flush draw, so if we don't want to bet the other one as a bluff, I suspect we don't want to bet this one where we have some additional equity. I'd say I check once more, then yeah, just killer betting this one half pot. Just want to be the rebel. The Hooklas rebelling it up. Check. 100% of the time. 8877. That's eerily similar to one we had earlier. And that one had surprised me earlier. So I guess we could sometimes check raise it, but meh. Eh. Never mind, ignore that. Yeah, I think we're still the win rate or expected EV there. That's twice of the same thing. Our EV, like if you see that we're winning like 3 BB by checking, that means we're actually losing because there's more than 3 BB in the pot already. It has been potted, raised. It has been opened, and then we 3-bet, got called. So we got, what, 10, 12 big blinds in there. I should know how many exactly, but I don't right now. In a 3-bet pot was one caller. But yeah, we're losing money by checking, is what I'm saying. Since the pot is, what, 10, 12 BB higher already. So here we see some 50% betting. We see some 100% betting. 809.57. Thank you very much for following. Cheers. It's 100 big blinds. For now. So I'd go with the pot myself. That's the only one, it seems. No. Whatever you do, do not pick my option. It's mostly a bet, sometimes a check. All right. Anything that gets potted here. So the one with one flush draw can get potted. The only combo with the backdoor flush draw gets checked. Being pretty much the strongest of these combinations, I'd say. Or it gets sometimes bet. Oh, mostly bet, actually. All right. All right. Cool. Ace, king, king, jack here. 3 spades. Blocking the second nut flush draw as well. Yeah, so for the record, I'm going to go with the pot size option here as well. Get it in if you get raised. Pierre, I'm checking this one. Interesting. Betting too strong here. With 3 spades and no straight blockers. Like, give us exactly 2 spades and a 6, 7, or 8. We'll check this out in a moment. I could see a check sometimes. Interesting. Legends could have a mix between checking betting 50%. I would think we're not gonna see a half pot size bet here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, 100% betting the pot. But let's check out this one. Ace, king, jack. Suited. Which ones get checked? Part of the other ones with a backdoor flush draw. We check one with spades. That's interesting. Presumably to protect our check range. And with the front and backdoor flush draw betted 100% of the time. All right. Yeah, this is something I want to work on a little bit more off stream to figure out how to get more information from this that's valuable for the stream and, you know, ultimately for me. Stacking off the backdoor flush draw. Like here, probably, if we bet pot that we don't fold in this case with these. It's a good question. If these are meant to be bet folds or pot folds or pot calls or pot get it in. All right. Next hand, nicely looking Jack 9, 7, 6. So pair got our backdoor flush draw. No spades here. MP Adam, thank you for the good lucks. Hopefully it turns out better than the last streamer home game where I got buried. Cheers. Nice to have had you here, sir. Hope you're having a good time in Malta. Bet 50%. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a mix again between checking and betting. Maybe leaning slightly towards checking. Legends Killer potting it. Oh, we have an open-ender. I missed that. Don't have a pair from the board. We have a pair from the board and an open-ender. All right. Missed the open-ender. Yeah, let's go with half pot sized. And all the options have some merit here. Betting pot not that far out actually gets done quite a bit. Very interesting. So Jack 9, 7, 6. Now suited. Interesting party V. Yeah, that's true. Oh, very close together. So the ones with spades bet call, I would assume. So we're betting all the ones that have the spades or the backdoor flush draw, unblocking spades. Yeah, 54% randomizer. So potting it without spades, but with oh, I need to remember to look at those frequencies. So it's basically potting sometimes the ones with the backdoor flush draw, unblocking spades, and betting half pot the ones with decent spades 100% of the time. There's one outlier here, but that one has the backdoor flush draw. All right. All right. Have a top pair and nothing. Absolute weakest part, or one of the hands we've had so far that hits this board the least. As such, it might sometimes be a bet. We do want to have some part of our weakest range here that bets for the aforementioned balance. They're right on point there. Yeah, so mostly a check, sometimes bet 50% maybe, I would say. Yeah, let's go with the check. 100% check, yeah. King 10, 8, 7. Frau Schwein, that is an excellent question. I believe that is not the case right now. And that's, yeah. I would love that functionality. I don't know if it's doable with all the simulations you need to run for all the variations there. I don't know. That'd be awesome though. If that's doable, and if that would be implemented into this tool at some point. Well, Legends Killer going with the half pot size bet here, I guess. Well, there's something to be said for all three options, I'd guess. Bet pot. Maybe not. Bet 50% sounds good to me as well. Maybe sometimes one, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Mix between betting half pot and checking. Check 100% of the time. Alright. Let's put this one in here. King 10, 8, 7. There's no pot betting with this hand. And so in total for all the King 10, 7, 8s double suited, it's a mix between checking and betting. It is pretty marginal, yeah. Look at the EV numbers. Well, betting actually nets you higher EV in some spots. Let's see, King 10, 8, 7. So the best ones get bet. Actually, would this one be... Hang on. King 10, 8, 7, right? That's this one. King 10, 8, 7. So here it says bet 50%. We don't have it. I don't know what's up with that. King of flush. We had the King 10, 8, 7, right? We had this one. Actually, we did have this one, okay. So... King in the 10 high flush draw, and here's the King in the 10 high flush draw as well. So it's... Apparently it's just something the solver randomizes. Let's see. No, here, so we're betting it with the King high flush draw, the King high front door flush draw, and here we're betting it with the... Checking it with the King high backdoor flush draw. That seems weird to me. Hide 0% frequencies. Ah. Thank you very much. So the King 10. All right, so I guess the main takeaway is it's a mix. It gets checked, or the very best ones get bet. Still doesn't show pot bets. Yep. Never gets potted. All right. Ah, shit, now we refresh the hands in the training simulation. So we're starting with the new batch of hands. Doesn't really matter for our purposes. As long as we have some hands. Aces with a top pair and a spade. Bauschwein. Thank you very much for saying that. Today it's a little bit unorganized since it's the first time I'm doing post-flop stuff. But man, I'm digging them too. They will be a daily thing from now on. Them study streams. So, about this one. Do we check? Do we bet half pot? Do we bet pot? Say we potted here all day long, right? Should be said today is going to be a short study stream, like another 20 minutes, then I'll have some dinner. And the streamer home game is starting an hour later. Since I'm probably going to be having a beer during the streamer home game, I would very much like to have some food inside of me before that. Mix 1, 2, 3, Legends Killer says, yeah. I don't know, betting half pot doesn't seem that appealing. But you're right. You're right, the EVs run insanely close. And actually, it's set okay, even though it's only 26% of the time. Mostly it's being checked here. But I guess as soon as all three options are reasonably strong, it gives us the okay check mark. Maybe 4-2, yeah. Alright. Ace is Queen 9. The dotted out card is the queen here. That's the only thing that gets dotted out. So with the ace of spades, we're betting pot. With front and backdoor flush blockers, well, that we have, that one we have here as well. Oh, these are the low frequency spots, okay. So potting it, we're potting the exclusively the ones that have the backdoor flush draw in trips. Yeah. Actually, this one is perfectly single suited. So the ones containing the backdoor flush draw mostly get pot 100% of the time, and then we have betting 50%. Overwhelming majority gets checked here, however. Whenever every option has some merits, I was likely like to mix everything. Yeah, fair enough. Having never worked with solvers before, that's important knowledge. All right. Here's Queen Jack 10. Pretty sweet hand, but we're not hitting anything from the board, not blocking anything from the board. This could be interesting. Probably better with the front and the backdoor flush draw, always. And put this one in our checking range. And go with the check. Obviously only if DBs are close, yeah, I see. Mix 1-3, sometimes betting pot. Just betting half pot. I'm gonna stick to the check. And check is the least preferred option. It's bet half pot 75% of the time, or gets bet pot sometimes as well. Potting the some that are perfectly single suited. And that don't contain the ones that get potted a lot. Only these two combinations here that don't contain backdoor diamonds. Fair enough. Betting the ones, the strongest ones, front and backdoor flush draw. Or the ones, well, here the frequencies already drop off, but also the ones that don't contain the backdoor flush draw as well. And checking all the rest. All right. Actually, yeah, no, never mind. Got confused there. Ace, queen, queen, jack. No, ace, queen, jack, jack. Right difference. With the backdoor flush draw. Antipathy towards mixed strategies. Yeah, it's just, we're gonna get into those more and more. Pre-flop that really there isn't much mixing. There was mostly pretty clear. But now that we're venturing into post-flop territory, we'll come across this more and more. And once again, do we bet half pot? Do we bet the pot or do we check? Have an option for check. I think I checked this one too. And it gets bet more often than checked. So actually, that one I can't find this one in here. Ace, queen, queen, jack. Dot says we are betting half pot most of the time. Oh no, never mind. There it is. There it is. Okay. Okay, so with the spade blocker and the backdoor flush draw, which is all of these, we bet, and the rest we check. Some of them we pot. All right. Wait, did I just... No, there we go. Threes and deuces, interesting one. Do you ever want to bet here? Damn it. Sorry, I clicked wrong and now the thingy is gone. Oh, no, there. Ah, it just keeps in the background as a... Okay. There we go. What? Oh, because... Nah. Still figuring this out, guys. Sorry about that. There we go. So, open-ended straight draw and front and backdoor flush draw, betting half pot. I check this one. The straights we make are pretty weak. And might get us into trouble in a pot we blot up further. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a check a lot. Because if we bet large and get raised, we run into a lot of domination issues, I would think. It might be better to play this one close to the vest. Yeah, check 100% of the time. Is there any difference when it comes to suits? Are there any weaker hands that we bet? Okay, so sometimes as a bluff, we bet the pure open-ender without any flush blockers here. All right. Oh, I didn't start the poll for that one. Excuse me. Better for next one. Aces with the king and the six, so blocking straight draws again, having the king of spades, also interesting, and having the backdoor flush draw. I'd say pot get it in, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I think so too, Legends Killer. We just, once we bet any amount of money and we get called or raised, it's just an ugly spot where if we continue, we are just going to be dominated so often in one way or another. – Legends Killer betting the pot here as well. I think that is going to be it, and that one is pretty clear cut for a change. Ace with a 5-3, similar hand. This time we block the low straight, not as sexy, but we do block a pair from the board this time around. Block the nut flush draw, and have the backdoor nut flush. That should make a difference in terms of what we should be doing. I don't think it does. I think we still potted here. Mix between 50%, 100%. Oakler saying bet 50 and stack off against the raise, yeah. And this one is being checked. I would suspect that the ace of spades makes the difference here. Let's see. Take this away for now. So, what's the deal? In general, well, we'll ignore the one-step bet half pot, just ignore those 28% of the hands. So it's either check or bet pot, huh? Yeah, yeah, right. If the imposition player raises here, he can't have the nut flush draw, and I think that's a big deal. Ace of spades should be good for betting. From his end, yeah. There's some aces that pot. Yeah, which ones do pot? Let's see. The ones with high frequency, let's go with until down here. These have the ace of spades or the 3 of spades and no backdoor flush draw, but some of them block the backdoor nut flush draw. And yeah, the rest is a check. Rossiton saying moin moin. Welcome back to the stream, Rossiton. Unfortunately, you're catching me at the end of the stream. This one's not going to go on for too much longer, like another 5-6 minutes. And then I prepare for the streamer home game tonight. Having a beer, playing some PLO 16 with the other streamers. Gonna be fun. Gonna be live on the channel as well in a little more than an hour. It's very counterintuitive. Yeah, this one is to me as well. I guess betting pot is not, you know, it's not a losing play. But the solver prefers to check back this one. I mean, that we block it, so we also blocked stack offs, yeah. I suspect that's a big part of it. More aces. All right. Might be a check then as well. Don't have a pair from the board, but we have the 6 blocker. Cheers, Rosidon. Thank you very much. Back to that first round, gutshot that wants to realize equity. Yeah, I think so too. So what do we do about this one then? Is this another check? But here we don't have any backdoors. We have the backdoor flush draw blocker, so I'd say this is a bit weaker, therefore we might want to pot it. Other pots I don't care, so yeah. Let's Killer, I hope patterns will materialize over time. Like over multiple training sessions. Arsidon saying bet 50%. 50% actually doesn't sound bad, yeah. Nah, personally I'm gonna go with the pot or the check. And I'd... Actually 50% does sound better the more that I think about it. Maybe fold then on a raise, yeah. Yeah, go 50%, half pot size, bet fold. Sounds good. You convinced me. Ooh! Look at you, very nice. So it's checking and betting half pot, never gets potted. Alright. Very nice. Hit the 50% if you have no clue. Ace, queen, queen, 3. So we don't block kings. Don't block straight draws much. Spades. I don't think we want to pot this one, do we? So it's a check or bet half pot. Like a medium strong hand on this board. I'm gonna go with the check as well. Betting, we just need to fold if we get raised. We have enough bets on the... Well, we have bets on this board for sure. Maybe don't need to add this one. 1 or 2. Legends Killer saying, huh? Yeah. And it does sometimes... That is surprising that it sometimes gets potted here. Not just sometimes, 50% of the time. Slightly higher VT potted as well. I guess because it is a weakish hand all in all. That's why we don't see a bet 50% strategy at all. Again, the dotted out cards are queens. It's part of a mixed strategy. It's so weird to pot fold this. I don't know if they pot folded at this point or if they pot call. That's something that I'm actually gonna ask this in the Mastermind Discord, see if there's an option to figure out like what would we do if this situation progresses now. Let's say we get, what do we do if we get potted into again? I think I can set this up for future trading sessions. Yeah, I think I should be able to set this up. Open up a second instance of the bucket tool. Alright, we'll do one more hand and then I need to call it a night. At least for the study stream. And for next time I'll play around with it, with the bucket tool a little bit later off stream tonight or tomorrow. And before the next stream starts, have some improvements here where we can check like what we do if we bet pot here in this spot and we get raised. Could be dominated by a better flush draw, yeah. I guess we still have to fold. We do decide to pot it. Uncle Schnitzel in the channel. Good to see you, sir. For the last minute of the stream, then 1 hour break, and then we have the streamer home game in an hour from now. Discord, see if there's any news about it. Alright, it's on. So, last hand, finish the poll here. It's happy stack off. Yeah, right? Or not, yeah, ignore the question, I wasn't sure. Yeah. Yeah, the happy part, I'm not so sure, but I think if you do pot it, you're right. We do need to follow through. We can't fold anymore. There are a bunch of combo draws we're doing alright against. Or just a bunch of hands we're doing alright against, so we're not going to be folding at this point. Yeah. Alright. One last hand. The king, queen, queen, 10 on this one. Having the backdoor flush, having no spades, no blocking straights at all. Do we check? Do we bet half pot, or do we sometimes just pot it here? No regards for tomorrow. Happy peel of 50% equity. That is happy. Agreed. All right. So what do we do with this? Do we check? Do we bet 50% or do we pot it? I'd say betting 50 sounds good to me as well. Sometimes checking. Don't want to pot fold this, I think. No, it just gets checked 100% of the time. Let's see what variations we can find. King, queen, queen. 10. So I'm saying do some backup here. So the ones that get bet are, let's see. Again, the dotted ones out are queen, so it's king, queen, queen, 10 here. Want to block the front and the backdoor flush draw. The ones that have front and the backdoor flush draw, that makes sense. The ones with low flush draws as well. And then, well, we check the overwhelming majority. And bet what strong ones are we betting? The ones with the king high flush draw? King, queen, queen, 10 and no backdoor flush draw, it's I think, but a blocker, yep. Yeah, it's the ones with the flush draw, the triple flush draw, basically. That potted here. Alright, alright. Tomorrow's study stream will hopefully be a little bit more organized. Glad you bore with me how, in any case, since this is the first time I ever used the bucket tool for post-flop stuff. So I'll figure all this out a little bit better. Improve the streams that way. In the meantime, let's actually raid Komodo Dragon Jesus. I will be gone on a 1 hour break. I'll be back in 1 hour with a beer and the streamer home game, PLO home game tonight. Tune in, it'll be fun. Last 2 times were highly entertaining streams. Normally there's a giveaway connected with it as well on Twitter. Like if you vote for who you think is most likely to profit, you get entered to giveaway on Twitter. So do check out the Run Once Discord tonight, Twitter tonight. And let's end this shorter stream here, and I'll have another one tomorrow. I put up a new schedule, it's right underneath the channel page. So if you want to know when I come online this week, there you have the information right there. And that's it for now. Let's head over to Komodo Dragon Jesus. And if you want, I'll see you in an hour. Hang on. Rate button. There you are. Yeah, and I'll figure out about the what if scenarios. Like, what if we pot and we get raised? I have an idea how to do it. Just have a second instance open. I'll fiddle around with that tonight. Hopefully have that figured out by tomorrow. Until then, everybody, it's been a pleasure. See you in an hour if you want to. Cheers. I am streaming it, Rossitan. Yeah, got my beer ready. I'm set up. I just need to get some food in me before I crack open a cold one. Thank you for the good lucks. See you then, guys. Cheers.